Hi there everybody, it's Martin Twycross here with another talk. Today's video is an inspired address I did during an online service at a spiritualist church. The topic of the address is being spiritual, and I talk about what it means to be spiritual and how we can become more spiritual. I do hope that you enjoy it and that you get a lot from it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's so lovely to be with you this evening. It's always a pleasure to serve a different church, so it's my first time with you, so it's a joy and a pleasure to be here. So what I thought I would speak to you about today is this concept that we have of being spiritual. Obviously, many of us frequent spiritualist churches, and many of us we encounter people who may not always be as kind as we would wish. As we go through our daily lives, we encounter people who may not always say or do things that sit right with us. And you'll find those people in your lives as well who can push all your buttons. You may find them close within your family. You may find them amongst groups of friends or in your workplace. Those people who always know the right thing to say to get you excited, to bring out the worst in you. And for me, it always used to be driving. Whenever I was driving, if someone cut me up or did something outrageous, it always used to get me excited. And I'd get normally I'm a very placid, easygoing person. Put me behind the wheel of a car and cut me up, and all of a sudden you start seeing strange hand gestures and strange words will fly out of my mouth, the language I don't normally speak. And this happens to many of us in different ways. There are things that excite us, things that push our buttons, and at times we may decide that actually we're not quite as spiritual as we think we are. For a while I had a little sticker on my dashboard saying calm on a nice pink post-it note, saying calm, to bring this concept. And then people would cut me up and I'd wish them well. I'd say, obviously you are in a greater hurry than me, and I wish you well, and I do hope you get there safely, because of the nature of your driving, it's probably debatable whether you will. So I began to wish people well, and then on my journeys I would then start letting people in front of me, letting people out. I used to drive to work and it was a battle. Some places on the outskirts of London, driving to work in the rush hour was a battle. Nobody would ever let anybody out, and you could sit there for ages, and if there was no traffic you could do the journey in 15-20 minutes, but with heavy traffic it's probably going to take you an hour. And I decided that maybe I'd be nice to people. Maybe I would let people out. And I started being kind to people. I started letting people out, and I was quite surprised that my journey seemed to go more smoothly, and I'd get to work quicker, which was quite odd. So I used to find that sometimes the journey would take a lot less time than I thought it would. But the best part was I would arrive at work feeling happier. I would arrive at work feeling less stressed. I would arrive at work feeling like I hadn't had a battle, I hadn't had a fight. And there's a metaphor there for us in life, that we choose our responses to all situations. We choose how we allow people to make us feel. Now you may not think that. You may think if somebody says something to you, then if that pushes your button, well, that's just it. You're going to respond. But no, we choose. We choose whether we allow things to get to us or not. We're currently going through a difficult time in the world, a difficult time in the UK at this moment in time, and I know many people are utterly fed up of it and allow it to depress themselves. But again, you choose that with your thinking. You choose, we can either accept it, we can either go with the flow, we can either see the opportunity within it, or we can use it to find a way to help others, or use it to find a way to help ourselves. Or we can moan about it, and sometimes moaning makes some people feel better. But in the long run, the people you moan to doesn't always make them feel better. And sometimes it doesn't always make us feel better. And for me, I hate conflict. Conflict really affects my energy. So I don't like conflict. And if we have a choice in life, is it not better to be kind? Is it not better to be spiritual? Is it not better to be understanding? Is it not better to be non-judgmental? We've been through an interesting week where there was an interview aired on American TV, and everybody has their opinion about it. But how many people can just watch, step back, and say everyone's on their own journey, everybody's truth is their own truth, it matters not, wish them all well, and there's no need to take a side, there's no need to be behind one person and not another. We can wish everybody well and not be engaged or involved other than sending positive thoughts. And in my own life, I found that the more I tried to become spiritual and the more I consciously decided to try and be nice to people, the easier life became, which was a very strange thing. But it's true, because that internal conflict within that's created through these interactions will dissolve. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm not. Every now and again I will get irritated, I will get angry even, I will get upset. But we've got to recognise it and recognise that we have responsibility for our own actions. We can change it with our thoughts, with our words, with our feelings. I used to work with a Buddhist, and he always used to say to me, in any situation, whenever a challenge arises, always take the high road. Always be the bigger man or woman. Always do that which will diffuse any argument, that which will diffuse any issue. If you can be the one who creates a resolution rather than a conflict, it'd be so much better. And it's wise advice. And he was a Buddhist. I'm a spiritualist. We're all different. But a lot of the truth remains the same. And what does it mean to be spiritual? It doesn't mean if I'm a spiritualist, I'm automatically spiritual. We often have a joke that sometimes some of the least spiritual people we meet are those within our churches. That's a joke I've heard many, many times. But I'm sure you all understand, when you put a group of people together, we're going to get different people. We're going to have different opinions. We're going to have different energies. And not everybody can be liked. For everybody who likes me, I guarantee there'll be somebody who can't stand the sight of me. I may remind them of somebody else. I may happen to look like somebody in their family they can't stand. And every time they see me, they may just decide that I'm like that person and they can't bear the sight of me. They may take a dislike to me for whatever reason, just because of how I look, because of how I speak, because of how I act. For everyone who likes us, there'll be people who dislike us. We have to have the rough with the smooth. But we don't have to engage ourselves with people. If someone doesn't like me, that's their choice. Absolutely. Wayne Dyer has a wonderful expression of other people's fine opinions. We can be independent of other people's opinions of us. We can choose not to engage with them. We can choose to say that they're welcome to their opinion, but I won't allow it to affect me. And in a world of social media where people can easily post things and say things, it's easy to get hurt, it's easy to get upset, but we can learn to rise above it. We can learn to take responsibility for our own feelings, thoughts and actions, and move above it. But there's a problem I see as well within a great number of so-called spiritual people. If you're developing yourself spiritually and you know what the right thing is and you choose not to do it, that creates a challenge. Because when we don't know what the right thing is, if we're ignorant of what the right thing is, then to some degree we've got a bit of an excuse. But when you know what the right thing is but choose not to do it, then you have a challenge. Then it's more difficult, because when we all reach the spirit world, we will all look back upon our actions and we will all decide whether we're happy with how we lived our lives or not. Every action we have will carry a consequence, and when we reach the spirit world, we will face the consequences of our actions. If we've upset people, if we've created havoc in our lives, that all comes back for us. It all comes back to sit with us. We're the ones who will face the challenge from it. So all of that is a part of our journey. The more we can live our lives here the way we would like heaven to be, the more we will create our own heaven here on earth. I know many people who say, I can't wait to get to heaven. Can't wait to go to the spirit world, where everything will be plain sailing, where everybody will be lovely, where it will all be love and light, where I won't be irritated by so-and-so. And I just laugh. I think, do you think so? Do you think that in the spirit world there won't be people with different opinions? Do you think in the spirit world that people won't inadvertently say something that you may take offense to, that you may find personal? Sometimes something is said quite innocently, but we get the wrong end of the stick. We grasp it and think it means something different. And I don't expect the spirit world to be too dissimilar to this world. I expect there'll be challenges. I expect that there'll be opportunities for growth. Because if it was all plain sailing, everyone was love and light, how would we ever grow? How would we ever learn? It's only through challenges that we actually have the opportunity to look within ourselves, to touch those aspects of the divine within us, those spiritual qualities, to enable them to manifest, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be understanding, to suspend our judgment, to become spiritual. So being a spiritualist does not automatically make us spiritual. It's our actions, our thoughts, and how we live our lives that determines that aspect. And when we reach the spirit world, we will truly find out if we were spiritual. I'll leave those thoughts with you. If you found this video helpful, do hit the like button, do leave me a comment, and if you like the teachings and the videos I produce, do subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you all again in the next one.